Hello and welcome to a channel update for February. This is, as usual, my way to tell you what's happening on the channel and your way to give feedback and kind of let me know what you want to see on the channel going forward. This is kind of an interesting time because we have a couple of series which are going to be coming to an end and nothing obvious to replace them just yet. So let's go and have a little talk about that. But before we get into anything else, I'd like to ask you a favor. Just pause the video and go into the comments and tell me what was the series you enjoyed the most recently. Or maybe even not recently. Maybe you haven't watched anything for ages and there was a series a while ago that you liked and now you're watching this to see whether I'm coming back to it or something. Just tell me what series you enjoyed. Right, I'll give you a second. Okay, right. Assuming you've done that, I'm now going to go into what kind of series I feel are doing well currently on the channel, which ones I feel aren't. By doing well, I'm not meaning like in terms of views and things, because that's a pointless conversation. Because Crusader Kings, it's highest on views. It's a shocking concept, but the thing that's most on the channel has the most views. It's just the way it works. Actually, that's not 100% true. If I look at my top 10 videos of like across the channel's history right now, yes, 9 out of 10 are Crusader Kings, that's fair enough. But in there is Jade Empire, sitting at something like 22,000 views, so, you know, there's a little bit of variety in there. Now, Jade Empire is kind of a more special case, because it's actually impossible to record. By impossible, I don't mean literally impossible, obviously, but if you try and record it, basically, like, the frame rate drops in all sorts of places. It's just an absolute pain. It's also old enough that people didn't really record it when it came out, and new enough that people remember it. So it's kind of in a very unique state where it's just like difficult to record, kind of old, but also new enough that people might search for it. Anyway, moving on from that. The series I feel are doing best in like extremely recently, or a series that I think were best, is the Saintly Scott series. I think was a really good Crusader Kings series, at least for the start. Like the first 20 episodes or so, that was a really, really good series. And there was a lot of things that went into that, at least from my perspective. This is why I'm asking for feedback and things. I think that it had a lot of planning put into like how I wanted the series to progress, and I kind of had an idea beforehand. I was like, with a lot of Crusader Kings series, I'm like, let's wing it, see what happens, because that's kind of half the fun in it. But in this one, I thought, okay, we'll plan it out a little bit more. So I kind of had sub goals already in there. So I was like, okay, so we're going to take Britain, we're then going to expand out from there a little bit, we're going to have some goals for trying to do crusades and things, that's what we're going to do. And I had like ideas about which bits we were going to do, so I knew that the Norse people were going to attack first, so we had to defend them off. Then I knew that realistically we wanted to be expanding into Ireland, because it's generally quite split up, and you know, I worked it out like that, and I think that was one of the reasons that series went very well. The other one that I think is doing very well right now as well is Pathfinder Kingmaker, although that's one that took a little bit of time to kind of get into the flow of things, but it is really, like I think the formula for an episode of that is starting to get into like a good flow. It is, I think the fact that it's a really good game as well is quite, you know, is a large factor, and that's obviously a factor in everything, but I think that it's got that right level of like gameplay and story. It's got that mix that I like. So every episode generally has a little combat, a little story, a little kind of meta game kind of aspect, and it works quite well in the kind of hour bracket that I have the episodes in. So yeah, those are my two that I think were quite good. The Radical Removing series as well, for like the first 10 episodes or so, was okay, but I feel like that one went off the rails a little bit. But yeah, I think that one is an example of the Saintly Scott series without the kind of goals afterwards, because it was really good up until the point where we reformed the religion, at which point, like, I didn't really have a plan after that. I had a plan up to, we will reform the religion, and then we reformed it, and it was like, oh, right, we're done then. But obviously the series wasn't going to end there, because we wanted to see all the new features, so you know, needed some more goals in that series. I have them now, and we're working towards them, but if I had them, say, 40 episodes ago, it would have been a much better structured series. Anyway, this is just me kind of rambling a little bit, talking a little bit about kind of more aspects and things that I'm thinking about. Anyway, let's move on to what kind of content is on the channel in the coming months. So, First things up on our list, we have the channel update, which is obviously happening now. It is obviously going to happen every month, not necessarily the first of the month, but at some point during the month, I like to do a little channel update, let you know what's going on. The next one is Divinity. We have had a recording session. We're recorded up to the 20th, and we should do another one next week. Should be getting rolling again. Person I'm doing it with now has internet, has a flat to live in, you know, all that sort of stuff. Has a stable schedule. It should be possible to get stuff done with that. It's, you know, realistically, how long do we need a week? 2 hours? It's possible now that we've got all the things in place, so I don't expect there to be too many more gaps in that series, but you never know. But at the very least, I hope that we can get to the end of Act 1 without any more gaps, because we've already done that. I want to get into the new content. Anyway, Marvelous Martels, that started at the start of this week. Series has gone off the rails a little bit, but, you know, that's kind of fun. We'll see what we do with that one. I don't imagine that's going to be a very long series. I reckon like a week or two more. I don't think that's going to be a 60-episode series, but nothing with the Game of Thrones mod is. I kind of have an issue with the Game of Thrones mod in that it's a really good concept. Like, the way that the mod is made is really good in that it represents the show and the books really well. Every character is represented. Everybody has their place. Things generally happen in a way that is similar to the show. But the map is really small. So, if you get any sort of power whatsoever, and we are starting with power, we're starting at like the king level, you can just win. Like, you just take the Iron Throne and that's it. There's nothing more to do. Once you've taken the Iron Throne, there's no point playing anymore, unless you're going to go across the seas and take as much as possible. So, I'm deliberately playing it a little bit slower, but it's never going to last forever. Like, that's a series which is going to be, realistically, not that long. But that's okay. That's okay. There's space for series like that, and it's actually good to have a little bit of a series which is shorter. Then we can move into new stuff. Like another longer series, instead of just being like, long series, long series, long series, long series. That's the problem that we had with the Saintly Scott and Radical Removing series. Obviously, they had to start at the same time, because I got access to Holy Fury at that time. There wasn't a way to, like, properly space them out in a good way that would work. So, like, those series started, and then they were both long series. What would have maybe been better is to have short series, long series. So have, like, one that's going to be short, one that's going to be long, and then kind of mix it up a little bit with that, but, whatever. It seems to be working out for now. Anyway, Radical Removan series. We have a goal. The goal we are moving to, it's quite slow, but I reckon that probably will be ending around the 100 episode mark. That would seem like a reasonable point, at which point I want to go and do some more mods, potentially. Well, I don't know. I'm actually 50-50 on that. As I'm speaking, I'm kind of thinking about it, because people were really, like, in the comments. I haven't got to replying to the comments yet. I'll get to, well, I'm not going to speak too much about it again, but I am replying to comments. I got through a huge amount of backlog, but there's still a huge backlog to go. But basically, where was I going with this? Brain has completely failed me on this one. But yeah, nope. Yes, okay, got what my point was again. So, people were really asking me a lot. I could see what comments coming in saying, are you going to do a Game of Thrones playthrough? Are you going to do a Game of Thrones playthrough? Are you going to do a Game of Thrones playthrough? And, you know, it's fine. Not everyone else knew everyone else was saying it at the same time. And I got the idea. People wanted to see it. But actually, when it came out, viewership, not amazing. It was kind of like, yeah, this is a normal series. So, what I'm wondering is whether it's just a vocal minority potentially with this. I don't know. Or whether they wanted to see a different start, in which case, I don't know. Maybe that's something you can tell me here if you got some feedback here, but I don't know. Maybe it would be better to do another vanilla series. Both of the vanilla series that I did, now obviously this is tempered by the fact that Holy Fury came out, and some of the previous vanilla series I did were not exactly like any better than like a modded series. But say I was to play as someone, like play a vanilla series as a nation I haven't played as yet, but like a big one. I don't know where I would play. I haven't quite thought of it yet, but, well, actually no. Say I was to do a Byzantine into Hellenics kind of one, the new religion, something like that, or was to do, what is it, Furry Kings or whatever they're calling the animal world stuff. if I was to do that instead, oh, it's Holy Furry. That's the pun. Yeah. But if I was to do that instead, I reckon that would be better received than another mod's playthrough. But I don't know. By mod, I'm not necessarily meaning the Game of Thrones mod. It could be like, I don't know if the Warhammer mod has been updated. I don't think it will have. They're generally not as quick on it, but maybe it has. It has been. I suppose the DLC has been out a while, but it was kind of out right before the Christmas period, so you know, all sorts of people probably wouldn't have been around for it. But yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think Witcher Kings will have been updated. I'd be very doubtful. If it gets updated, I imagine that's going to happen like summertime. That seems to be the time it gets updated. I don't know. I think what else I would want to play. I guess it would be like a random mod like After the World Ends or something. I don't know. Anyway, you get the point. I don't know whether that would be better than just doing a vanilla series. Because there's a lot of vanilla starts I haven't done. There's a lot of stuff in Holy Fury I haven't done. Like, I could just do another Reforming a Religion series, because there are so many different religions you could do, and you could have a different focus of it. And I have been messing around with the game rules a little bit with the Marvelous Martels one, so that it's, like, trying to do different things, trying to make the game act a little bit differently, so maybe be more friendly towards, more friendly towards actually recording it. I'm not sure I like defensive packs for recording as well, depending on the series. Like, for the Saintly Scott series, defensive packs, absolutely okay. Worked out. There was a lot of downtime, which we were fine with. For the Radical Removan series, defensive packs just basically mean we sit there and do nothing for, like, an episode or two. Not necessarily nothing. We're still working on the character and all that sort of stuff, still building up, but they don't facilitate what I wanted from the series. Like, if I turned defensive packs off, we could have been a lot more aggressive, a lot more conquering, and kind of fit the I'm trying to think of the right word here, but basically fit the ideal of what we wanted it to be, like, a lot better. There's a good word that I've completely blanked on, but anyway, that's where I was thinking with that series. Anyway, so it's fine. We'll move on from talking about them, talk about Prison Architect a little bit. Prison Architect, fun series, I guess. It's not like one that's gonna last very long. It's, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't have a spark for me. Like, it's not something I look forward to recording each day and go like, yeah, it's Prison Architect Day. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna play some Prison Architect. It's not quite as like, it's not got that Darkest Dungeon, I want to play a little bit more. It's like, yeah, I'll record the episodes we need, and then that's it. I don't know. I think that there's an issue where the game feels a little shallow to me, as in it doesn't, or the game isn't good enough at explaining its depth, if you know what I'm meaning. So I'm not getting it. I'm not getting like that there's a lot to it. It's more just follow the steps as they go along. There's very kind of set things, like you get money for doing grants, which then allow you to progress further, and then when you run out of grants, that's the end. Like, it doesn't seem to be too much structure to it. I don't know. I guess I was expecting something with a little bit more in it, but, you know, it's a fun game to play for a little bit, but I think we'll be moving on from that soon. Don't know what we're going to play afterwards. Maybe City Skylines, potentially. Don't know. I've been feeling that I want to play something which is a little bit more action-y. I don't know what I mean by that, but like something that involves a little bit more action from my side, like a little bit more that I have to do. So, yeah, haven't really thought about it yet in terms of what that is, but yeah, maybe we could fit that in that slot. Yeah, the other thing about Prison Architect is when I started it, the default max speed is incredibly slow. Like, it is just glacially slow. That is I would say that Prison Architect is the ideal game to play while you have like Netflix on your other screen. Or like it is the ideal game for that, because it is like, set something, forget it. Turn away, focus on something else for a while. You're not going to have to care about the game for another 10 minutes. Like, that's that kind of game. Which, you know, has its place, but not what I was exactly looking for. Anyway, Pathfinder. Now, this is a game which I always want to record more of. I'm like, when can I play more Pathfinder? I am so into the story. I am so into everything. Like, the game fits everything I like about playing games in one game. It's like, it's got the story, it's got the choices, it's got the strategy, it's got the Like, it's got the combat strategy and the, like, the meta layer strategy that you have to be focusing on at the same time. It is fantastic. It's got so many little details in there, and they were making it more and more polished every patch, which is something I really like seeing. So they make all these optimizations, like the game loads quicker, and then they fix the UI elements, and then all sorts of stuff, and they do all these little quality of life stuff as I'm playing through it, which is absolutely great as a kind of feeling to go through the game with, because it's like, oh, this thing is better, and now our characters become better, and it's all kind of fitting in together nicely, and that's why I really like that series. But yeah, it does feel like we're reaching the end of the game, and I have seen, like, the latest patch notes had a thing at the top which said something like, a character's epilogue will play after chapter. I'm not going to spoil it, but it was just like saying it was fixed, but that chapter was saying this is the final chapter, and we are in that chapter. So I was like, oh, so at the end of this thing, we're going to get character epilogues, which generally means that we're near the end of the game. Now I already knew that, because we're getting to the end of our companions' like story arcs, and that generally says like you're nearing the end of whatever you're getting to. Also, we've only got like 2 bits on the map left to explore, so it all kind of fits together. We're level 15 out of 20. Actually, level 14 out of 20. Not level 15 yet, but you know, there's a lot to it, and yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Probably my favorite game that came out last year that I played. There were a lot of games that were brilliant last year that I didn't play, because they were on things like the PlayStation, which I don't actually have one of. But yeah, it's a good game. Next one, replying to comments. We already kind of talked on that, so I'm not really going to talk anything more about it. Talking about things that are coming up in terms of other random stuff. Life is Strange Episode 2, I am planning to record this week if I can. It came out like a week or 2 ago. Actually, it might have just been last week. But I want to play that. It was interesting. It's probably going to be about 4 hours or something if it's the same as the previous one, sometimes 5 hours. So, yeah. Should be a good week's worth of fun. Also, it was going in a very weird path, as in things were going off the rails for the character. So I'm interested to see how they bring it back to some kind of structure, or whether they just fully commit to the things have gone crazy, we're going with it kind of style. Other stuff, Pillars DLC, still want to do it after Pathfinder. Imperator Rome got a release date, which is the 25th of April. And I was thinking about this. I was wondering whether, when it comes out, I want to, instead of, like, there was a couple different options, and this is why I also want feedback on it. Like, when it comes out, I could, like, put it out as, like, a 5th series. Could put it in the 3rd series slot, as in the Prison Architect slot. So right now, the series I have is I have 2 Crusader Kings, 1 Other, which is what Prison Architect is currently, as in Darkest Dungeon was in before, City Skylines in before that. Don't think I had anything in before that, because I think I had a weird kind of 5 games thing going on, which was just a little bit too much. At least if I'm doing an hour of Pathfinder each day. And Pathfinder's in the 4th slot. And then, like, I have this 5th slot that doesn't really exist because I've run out of time in a week. That's for things like Life is Strange and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, Imperator Rome, I was thinking I could put it in one of the CK2 slots, given that they are selling it as, or at least their original pitch to it. I haven't read any of the dev diaries, but I should do that before it comes out. They were saying it's going to be a mix between EU4 and CK2, to which that sounds perfect. That sounds like that would go great in that kind of slot, like in a Crusader Kings one, and then just do a and then have the other Crusader Kings series just be ongoing or something. I don't know. I haven't really fully thought about it yet, but that one, yeah, needs thinking about. Thronebreaker is also kind of, it's going further down the list as things go. I should add some more things to this list that I'm thinking of. So we've got like Tyranny. That's not how you spell tyranny. Tyranny. There we go. Tyranny. That's one that's on my like thinking about list. We have I'm just gonna do the abbreviations. We have KOTOR 2. That's another one. Those are 2 that I'm thinking of for after Pathfinder, because both of them are a little bit shorter as well. So like after Pillars, after Pathfinder. Also, I don't know whether the Pillars turn-based stuff works on a current game, but if it does, definitely going to try that out when we do the DLC. Trying to think what else is in there. I guess I'll just kind of... Things that... Other ones are like Wasteland 2, although I have tried that a couple times, and... You know, maybe I just wasn't getting it those times. But, like, it's in the same kind of vein of game. I've also got, what is it? You got Planescape Torment. Oh no, it's Tides of it's Tides of Numenera. Is that it? Something like that. Tides of N, which is another kind of one of those types of games. But it came off of Planescape. Like, that was the original one, which I haven't played. But it's a little bit older. Not sure. Is that how you spell Planescape? I think that's how you do it. Anyway. So that was one I was thinking of. In terms of other ones, I don't know. There are the Shadowrun games, but they're not something I'm thinking about jumping on as much. In terms of other stuff, like, there are RPGs which are... I was saying, like, I'm feeling about playing something a little bit more actiony. Oh, yeah, that was it. Bethesda games. So, you got the Fallout, New Vegas. You got the Morrowind, which I've never played. Things like that. They would be interesting. Other ones that we could that I was thinking of. Oh, there's the other one. It's that we're gonna play. I don't know when it comes out, but Outer Worlds we're gonna play when it comes out. I think that's what it's called. I'm gonna go to a different screen now. Obsidian. Yes, it's called Outer Worlds. Yes, so that's a new game by Obsidian, which looks very Fallout-y. Although apparently it's a bit more linear than initially people were suspecting. So like it's not as open world. There is gameplay of it. I just haven't watched any because I'm kind of already gonna play it. So there's no point playing it because I'll just get, you know, spoilers and things. So I was just like, no, we'll just see it when it comes out. Oh, and the other one is well, it's probably gonna be further away. Is Cyberpunk 2077. Whenever that comes out, gonna play it, but don't know when that's gonna come out. If I had to put bets on it, Outer Worlds I would think is coming out this year, and Cyberpunk is also coming out this year, and it's gonna be within a month of each other. So if I have a look at Outer Worlds, do we have a release date for it? They think it's gonna be mid to late 2019. Yeah, okay. So that seems about right. And then Cyberpunk 2077 release date hopes to be launched at 2019 at the earliest. Yeah, so I reckon that one's going to be like they're going to announce it at E3 and it's going to come out in September-ish. That's what I'm thinking. And I also think that that's kind of my bet for when Outer Worlds comes out. But, you know, we'll see. I think September, August is when both of those are going to come out with stuff. Also, I think there's going to be more Pathfinder DLC at some point. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Most of the Pathfinder, if the Pathfinder DLC is like the Kineticist DLC, then it's probably going to come out and you have to play through the game to get the full benefit of it. I'm not sure if I want to play through the whole game again. What might be a way to fix it, or like to sort it out, is if I wanted to play through the game again, just turn the difficulty right down to story and just blast through it. But I don't know if that's something I'd want to do, or like play it through entirely again with a different character. But like that would take months of episodes, and I don't know whether that's worth doing. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. It's been a pretty long channel update, but you know, I think it's been a good one. Yeah, it's been something that we had some stuff to talk about, and hopefully there'll be a lot of stuff to talk about in the comments. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.